Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the 7 day weekend. Such a pleasure. I'm your host, Prakash Chugani, this afternoon. And let me start with what is it that we're going to cover today? One of the things that I've been coaching quite a bit with executives is this aspect of people not being able to enjoy what they're doing because they're sandwiched between their boss and the people that report into them. So they take on a lot of commitments from the seniors and they're not able to get their people to deliver. And so they're sandwiched in between and they kind of find it very difficult to move in that space. And so I've been coaching them, and there's one very important aspect that's missing in their executive life, which would really make them enjoy everything that they do. What is that? It's simple. It's to do with being assertive. If only they became more assertive, they would notice that they're far more better off in doing what they want to do. Now, what does assertive mean? And it's a part of communication that goes beyond just speaking and listening. When I'm being assertive, two things are happening. One is I'm very confident about myself. I know my stuff. And two is I know my people and I know exactly where they come from. And so I can really be assertive. Now, a reason, big reason why these people do not want to be assertive is they feel that if they're assertive, they're kind of being aggressive, they're being rude. They like to be more humble, they like to be more polite. And so they're not able to be assertive. Unfortunately, assertiveness is so different from being aggressive and it's so different from being anything that is rude. In fact, when I'm assertive, I'm actually standing for my own values and I'm able to stand for myself. And to a large extent, I stand for others as well. So here are a few things I want to share with you that's going to support you in enjoying a 7 day weekend, which is to enjoy life in the workplace by being just assertive in the way you communicate. Firstly, you have your superior who comes to you and gives you a lot of things to do. Before you commit, it's very important for you to get some time and say, thank you so much. Is it okay if I can get back to you, get as much time as you can because you want to go get yourself organized before you commit yourself to saying, yes, no problem, I'll do it. And then going back and struggling, realizing, my God, I've got to really stretch day in and day out to get that particular commitment fulfilled. So buy some time. When you buy some time, what you want to do is you're going to quickly get the involvement of your team members, your direct reports, and speak to them. And there also assertiveness is important. So what are you going to do there in that particular assertive space? One is give them choice first and show them what is on the plate that we've got to deliver and find out from them when are those deliveries going to be possible. All right. Stretch them because obviously they're going to try initially to be as much as, to try and um, under promise and over deliver. And that's what you're going to do with your superior for sure. But what you want them to understand is that you want them to really stretch as much as possible without really trying to intrude into their lives, personal lives, but you want them to actually deliver what you want them to commit themselves to. So once you get the buy-in from them and you know that this is what they're going to be able to deliver after stretching them a bit, you then are going to go to your boss and say, all right, here are the things that we can actually deliver to you and these are the timelines. And you're going to be very assertive because you really worked with your team before you got back to your boss. You just don't say yes or no to your boss unless you really understood the ground reality. Because the boss has this big picture, you got the ground realities. And so you got to just be able to help him understand and see what he cannot see. That's exactly what you're really doing. So once he sees it, he should largely be available and understand that, okay, this is how they're going to work. So if he has three things he wants to deliver, get his priorities and say, okay, let me know when and what is most prior for you. And then that's how you're going to actually have a team do things. When you're being assertive with your team, this is what happens with these executives I'm coaching. They're not able to do an assertive job there. So firstly, they stretch them, they get them committed to a date. So I want to know from you when this can be delivered. So here are the things that you're actually having on your plate. So I know that this is an additional thing. When do you think it can happen? Get a date from this person. And once you have it, you hold him for it, be hold him accountable. but just don't let go from there and don't abdicate. What you got to do is you got to see how, once you got that commitment, you have him in some way for a short term. So if that's project going to take about, say, 3 weeks or 1 month, within the next week, get him to send you something relevant to that particular project. It could be a plan with some actions that he's going to do or take, but you want him something to send immediately in that particular week so that you know that he's on board with things. And one more thing you got to do is you've got to remind him the moment you find him slip on some of the things that he has actually committed to you. So I would really want to have a conversation with him 2 days before that particular deadline. Say, hey, so how are things going? How are things going? And we are on track with what we're supposed to do. And then he will realize that you are on top of it. You might have a scheduler with you, but you got yourself calendared. You know the things you've delegated. You know the timelines people have committed. The classic mistake we do, we delegate, we give timelines, and we believe that they got to get back to us and it's their job now. Not everybody are set in that particular space to come back to you at the time that they committed. Most would not. I had this HBR study where I noticed that at least what the research was that if you want things delivered, and the managers who get things delivered at the time that they have to be delivered are those who at least go back and remind their people once before the delivery. So without reminders, it doesn't happen. Unfortunately, that's the way the world is. So please remember that you got to keep the schedules with you. You may want to go and remind them so that you get what you want. So being assertive is not just saying something, being polite and gentle, and then leaving it off. You can still be gentle, you can still be polite, but then there is a certain space where you, once they commit themselves to a certain time, you making sure that they get it to you, that you don't become lenient with them then. In the start, you give them the choice. But once they've committed, you can't be lenient. And that's being assertive. It's saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And if you get that in your scheme of things, they will get it in their scheme of things. And sooner or later, people will start aligning themselves to the way you want things to be delivered. And so your communication, when it's assertive, has a massive impact on the way people are going to deliver things to you. And that's going to support you in enjoying the 7-day weekend. All right, so let's look at you. Look forward to seeing you once again next week, same time, same place. Adios.